In another development, the British Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch revealed in an interview released on Tuesday that she believes U.S. President Donald Trump's actions in Venezuela were morally right. Speaking on BBC Radio 4's Today show, she expressed that even though the move from the U.S. might have been somewhat legally ambiguous, she understood why it was done. Let's watch.
Are you saying it was the right thing to do for the U.S. to send its special forces in and seize President Maduro?
Morally, yes. You listen to opposition leader Maria.
You're choosing your words, aren't you?
Yes, I am, because I don't understand the legal basis. But as we all know, international law is what countries agree to. Once people decide they don't agree, there is no international law. There's no world police, no world government, no world court. These are agreements. And when we look at what the opposition leader Maria Machado said, she said Venezuela had already been invaded by Russia, by Iran, by Hezbollah. Where were the people talking about international law then?
Now, Badenoch backed up her comments by basically drawing parallels between Nicolas Maduro and growing up here in Nigeria under Buhari and Abacha's military regimes. And her comments come as President Trump has also announced on Tuesday that Venezuela is set to turn over up to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. after removing Maduro, and that he would be the one controlling the money. And Rufai, I'll come to you on this. Nigeria and Venezuela, Kemi Badenoch seems to think that there's some sort of parallel between the two, and she understood the U.S.'s decision. How do you see her comments?
Well, at least I think we've really established the fact that Kemi Badenoch is an anti-Jemima, so she'll do anything to push Nigeria down. And she will make false equivalents and say things that are not substantiated with facts. So what's the meaning of you grew up under Buhari and, you know, what's the equivalence with that? Okay, you say they were dictatorial in nature. Maduro was also dictatorial. So did America now go ahead to invade Nigeria and take those dictators out?
No.
Did they? So what equivalence are you trying to draw? And right in front there, Kemi Badenoch starts to lie, says that there are no international laws, international courts. I'm sorry, what's the ICC about?
The international rules-based
order.
The rules-based international order.
So
what's even the what's the United Nations about?
No, she says nobody respects it. So everybody has been violating it. So if some other people have been behaving wrongly, and then that justifies bad behavior, that's the logic that I don't understand.
The same hypocrisy with America, who brought about United Nations after the League of Nations failed, who brought about even the League of Nations in the first place, after we started to move towards entente cordiale, after we had most of the wars in the 1800s. So who brought about this? America, because they wanted to bring everybody together so we can respect something. But you have a leader that is violating it now, and Kemi Badenoch starts to support that leader because he espouses right-wing thoughts. So I would like to ask Kemi, now that the man has said he went in there because of the oil, he's taking most of the oils they blockaded, oil that is not America's oil, that was supposed to be shipped out to places like China and the other places. So should we continue? Is this not the same Kemi Badenoch? Is this not the same Britain that she is in, that you had the case of Sergei Skripal, that the UK was screaming when Sergei Skripal was attacked? Is this not the same country where when Alexander Litvinenko was attacked, the UK was screaming and led to sanctions against Russia? So what's the justification? That means Putin too can enter Ukraine the next minute and pick up Zelensky. You see, let me listen and try to analyze what Kemi Badenoch is saying. I think we've gotten to a point in the world where everybody should get a nuclear weapon. And it works wonders. You know why? Because if hegemons think they are greater than everybody and they are bullies, if everybody has a nuclear weapon, people sit down and they say, let's talk. The reason why Donald Trump can't try the rubbish he tried in Venezuela, in North Korea, is because Kim Jong-un has a nuclear weapon. And let me give you empirical facts. When, When they tried it, when President Kennedy tried it with the Bay of Ping invasion, and they were not successful, the only thing that Russia did to support Cuba then was to take intercontinental ballistic missile and nuclear weapon on Cuban soil. Once America saw that, America was the one forced to make an agreement. That's what led to the Cuban Missile Crisis. So it goes back to the great quotes by the great sage Muri Tonda, or Taye Currency, that says, and I quote,
Is that a sage?
No.
Taye Currency.
The great sage of Fuji music, Taye Currency, that says, and I quote, "Were laughing wo were." It is a madman that we used to cure a madman. Because in one same breath, look at the same Europe that Kemi Badenoch is from now. When Trump starts to look at Greenland, they were quick to issue out a statement that, remember, they are both in NATO. So when Kemi says international order does not work, has she forgotten that there is NATO there? That an attack to one is an attack to all?